Hi there. These are the top 3 ways that a birth injury lawyer proves your case that your baby suffered a brain injury due to a lack of oxygen. The first thing that we do is we always look at the fetal heart monitoring strip. That is the long chart that measures your uterine contractions as well as the baby's heartbeat. When a baby is lacking oxygen during labor, the heart rate will actually drop in certain ways. It coincides with the uterine contractions, and it shows to us exactly what the baby's response is to the contraction. If the baby's getting enough oxygen, then the heart rate shouldn't have much of an effect after a contraction. However, if the baby's not getting enough oxygen and a contraction happens, then the baby's heart rate will drop. We call that a deceleration. If we have multiple decelerations, then we will have an indication there, an objective proof that the baby was not getting oxygen during the time of labor and delivery. The second way that we find out whether or not a baby's birth injury was due to a lack of oxygen is the timing that it took from when the baby's lack of oxygen began, based on the strip, to the time that the baby was actually delivered. If there is a long progressed delay in that time frame, then more likely than not, the birth injury was due to the fact that the doctor or nurse were negligent in their actions. The third way that we prove in a case of birth injury that a baby's brain injury was due to a lack of oxygen is how the baby's condition was right after delivery. We call those Apgar scores. There are scores at 1 minute, 3 minutes, and 5 minutes. They test the different condition of the baby. How does the baby look? Is the baby crying? Is the baby breathing on its own? Those are all calculated and given a score. If the scores are low, then we know that the baby had issues right at labor and delivery. If the baby has a brain injury, but the Apgar scores are pretty high, then we know that maybe the baby had an injury well before labor and delivery, during pregnancy at some point, and there was nothing that the doctor could have done during that time frame to prevent that birth injury. Those are the 3 ways that we as lawyers prove a case of birth injury for a baby who had a brain injury due to a lack of oxygen. If you have questions about your case and you want to know how we can prove it and win it, then you need to give us a call and we'll schedule a time for you to talk to one of our attorneys. My name is Adam Funk. I am one of those attorneys, and I'd be happy to chat with you about your potential case.